Hey, everybody, really excited to dive into the world of SD-WAN and how it's reshaping enterprise connectivity in the cloud with Julian from BCN. Julian, how are you?
I'm great, Evan. Thanks for having me join you today.
Great to
Appreciate the
see you.
opportunity.
I've followed you guys for so many years. Speaking of which, you've been at BCN for almost 20 years, which is amazing in tech. Would love to hear more about how you describe BCN these days and the
Sure.
current mission and journey you've been on.
Absolutely. So it's actually probably a little over 20 years now. So today, BCN, we provide managed connectivity and technology solutions to business customers. And our goal really, the big mission statement is really to allow them to fuel growth and to provide them with resiliency in their technology and their connectivity. So we service nationwide here in the U.S., as well as some international locations. And really what really is moving the needle for us right now here, I would say in the last 3 to 5 years, is selling managed and providing managed connectivity services with a nice technology overlay, such as SD-WAN and other things, so that a customer can truly rely on their business connections to really accomplish the things they need to do with their business. We've been at it, BCN, we've been at it for 30 plus years. So we've kind of seen 3 decades of a technology company or a connectivity company, a telecom company. So we started a long time ago, got our roots in the CLEC business. And then here, really within the last decade, last 5 years, really watched our company and really set ourselves on a path and a journey to really embrace what's kind of coming, if you will, here. As it
Amazing. Well,
relates to.
we've both been at it for decades, I think. We used to talk about T1s and ISDN and POTS, and the good old days weren't so good. But so how has SD-WAN really changed the way enterprises think about connectivity today compared to, these older models, even MPLS, which was supposed to be the next big thing? What are they thinking?
Well, I think what we see is that, customers, they want to take advantage of the latest technologies that are afforded to them. They want to do it in what I would say in a very resilient, a reliable manner, and they want to feel secure and protected when they do that. And then they want to go run their business, whatever business they're in, making auto parts, providing healthcare services, serving a great dinner at a restaurant. They want to actually focus on their business and what they're doing. And that's really, I think, where companies like BCN come in and others in our space, where we set out to really manage that solution, that connectivity and technology solution for them, so they can actually go do the things that they aspire to do. So, what we've seen a lot of, kind of going back recent years, a few years back, you would often see customers with really a kind of what I would call a single threaded connection, meaning just one connection. And then as the world changed and as things, as we're now kind of at the forefront of this AI explosion, that desire, need for a single connection suddenly expanded to where they said, we need to really have 2 connections. And early on, it was a single connection with some type of backup failover, i.e. the insurance policy. But in today's world, you don't really have to buy it and hope that, in anticipation of needing it. Really, you can buy the second connection, bring it real time, bring it live in operation, overlay it with an SD-WAN solution, and really now have a resilient, dual threaded connections out to the world. And then once you start that technology overlay, even if you're just at the very basic end where you just say, look, I want to optimize these 2 connections and make them resilient, whether you're at that or you're clear out at the edge seeking a SASE solution, or somewhere in between that. That really is where kind of these SD-WAN and technology overlays start to come into play. And that's what we're seeing. I can't tell you how many customers we see that we get opportunities, and it starts with two, sometimes three connections, and then it immediately goes to that technology overlay to really manage the connections. I believe the big driver and behind all of this, and one of the things that we're really focused on, is it's all about improving upon and making that customer experience just as best as it can be, allowing it to be kind of what they need to accomplish their businesses. So, we kind of look at all these things as just kind of layers in perfecting that customer experience. So that's what we're seeing. That's what we see our customers asking us for. We see them shifting from old technology, you mentioned it, from MPLS to what's probably more cost-effective or budget-friendly version of an SD-WAN with a public internet solution. So,
brilliant. And there is a lot broken with some of the legacy technologies out there, whether it's the providers, the architectures, even the CPE that's out there. Where do you find companies feel that pain most? Is it their bill, their cost at the end of the month, or is it performance or agility or new applications, maybe all the above?
It's kind of all the above. So one of the things that I think we found successful and that we really pride ourselves in is I always say, look, if we can meet the customer at their needs, we're going to be in a really good spot. That's probably where you represent the most value. That's probably where you'll get the most experience back out of the relationship, and you'll probably have some great longevity. So to the point you make is, we really talk to the customers and understand, what are your needs? Are you trying to reduce, lower your cost structure? You need to enhance your bandwidth. You need to stabilize your connectivity. You have all of these applications in the cloud that you need to simply be able to rely on getting to them, as well as having the bandwidth to make them really run smoothly and efficiently. Or do you have a security need, a security concern that you want to bring into that? I will say that a lot of times there tends to be what I almost would call a triggering event, meaning the existing solution is out of contract. The existing solution simply can't evolve through another patch or through another kind of Band-Aid to get them to where they want to be. A lot of times folks make change after something undesired or bad has happened, is the reality of it. I think, oftentimes we kind of run our lives in the same way. Something fails you, so you go out and fix it. So, but it's generally kind of one of those will trigger the need. So
interesting. And you mentioned SASE and Zero Trust, which come into play, but they're not products necessarily. They're sort of architectures and guidelines. Sure. How tightly should they be integrated into SD-WAN, and what are some of the principles you rely on there?
Well, again, depending upon what the customer needs and wants, obviously a SASE solution is effectively a fully meshed, fully integrated SD-WAN solution, coupled with leading edge security, and kind of creating that secure access service edge. So if that's the driver, we and others have product offerings and service offerings that allow for the technology to advance to that level. A lot of times customers come in with a security solution, and they really are focused on perfecting the connectivity, their connectivity needs. So in those scenarios, it may look more like pure managed connectivity with an SD-WAN overlay, again, for resiliency, optimization, allowing for cloud optimization and performance. So we kind of see it both ways. We also have seen where a lot of multi-location customers, such as I don't know, like restaurant chains or things of that nature, where you have a whole lot of the same thing. We find that it's much easier for a customer and through managed service provider to really establish whatever firewall needs they want and then deploy them over the technology across the masses. So if they decide they want to do something at a security level across 1,000 locations, again through our overlays and the overlays that others can provide, we really get into being able to allow them to make that change real time and not have to dial into 1,000 premise-based firewalls and go through some type of change that they want to accomplish. So again, I think we allow the customer to have a much better experience and to really focus again on the things that their business is about, and allow us to help them manage some of these other things. We also, we see a lot of drivers in with SD-WAN technology overlays. They really allow us to create visibility and then allow us to create actionable visibility. And what I mean there is that we can really see those connections cleanly. We can understand what's going on at a particular customer location. And now through, kind of as AI works its way into our world, we're able to actually then start taking action upon the data and information that we see that we're kind of polling or pulling out of the network. One of our big initiatives this year, here spring of 26, we are launching our latest and greatest customer experience portal, and this is a big step. Along the way, we had a lot of experience portal versions over the years, and they were kind of all incremental. This is a big shift for us. We're actually API connecting out into the networks. We're pulling data out of the networks. We're putting that up on the dashboard, if you will, a health and resiliency dashboard for customers. We're baking in the ability to then take action again off that data that we see be it through automated trouble ticketing, automated correction, suggestion, and it really again really it's all driving towards the customer experience. But we're going through a big change like that. Without these overlays and this technology and all the ability to pull this information, you really can't accomplish those things. So I would say that customers that want to have that type of overall experience, that's kind of what you have to put together. That's really what you need to bring into your business so that you can have the opportunity to experience these great outcomes.
Amazing. Can't wait to see that in action.
Yeah.
So you have so much real world experience in deploying SD-WAN. Mm-hmm. What are some of the big challenges, maybe unexpected surprises that companies hit during real world deployments? What should they look for and prepare for?
Yeah, great question. So I would say is a few things. Number one, they really need to go through a process up front and really define their needs, and then go through a process where they meet with potential solution providers and ensure that their needs are aligned with the solution that they're looking for. One of the big things that we find is, again, in these multi-location, multi-site deployments that's mission critical, is what we call kind of project managed service delivery. So we've found that when you don't really bring those project management skills or those disciplines to a large deployment, you really can get tangled up fast, particularly if you're deploying equipment, unhooking old things, installing new things. We've seen that as well. I also think, inside of the decision making right now, you can find what I would say are more OpEx solutions versus CapEx solutions. So, anyone who's run the numbers on these things, the OpEx solutions are generally going to utilize other folks' working capital, or the provider's working capital for the equipment and some of the upfront costs. And then you're probably going to have the ability to get access to technology and upgrades more on a what I would say kind of quicker in the process, or more regularly in the process. If you go with a CapEx solution, you're going to use a lot of your cash flow, your working capital. However, those models financially, at some point, CapEx goes away and OpEx continues. I mean, pretty basic stuff when you analyze it. But I do think that both options are out there in the world today, and exploring those and making sure you pick the right option or right answer for your customer. We also run into a lot of requests. Customers will. You can kind of do this. If you do CapEx, it's basically self-managed. If you do OpEx, you can have combinations of fully managed or jointly managed, meaning the customer and the service provider provide a management of the technology. I think that's a customer needs to really make sure they assess their capabilities, particularly if they're going to do a co-managed solution, because they will have access to the technology overlays. They'll have the ability to impact those, and they may even have certain things that they're supposed to do or required to do. They just need to make sure that they have the resources and skills to do that. Fully managed, again, you really need to get through that initial evaluation process. Make sure that the team you're working with understands the technology they're working with.
Brilliant.
We've seen a lot of kind of like I said, really smooth, great ones. We've run into ones that where there was a gap, if you will. But again, I think it's who you're partnering with is going to ultimately get you through those. So indeed. I hit a few things there. I don't know if any of that was right onto your question, Evan, or not.
It did. It's a complex space and there's not a simple answer. I am curious, you're calling in as we speak from Martinsburg, West Virginia, although you're nationwide. What do you think about the smaller markets, the markets maybe that traditionally weren't served, underserved markets outside of the big metros? It seems like there's a lot of opportunity there, a lot of investments happening in manufacturing and otherwise in places like West Virginia, but elsewhere. How are you thinking about those kind of customers as well?
AI is changing the game of business. Will you be on the winning team? I'm Jordan Wilson, the host of the Everyday AI podcast, and your coach to help you learn the X's and O's of AI. Artificial intelligence isn't just a new player in the game, it's a new sport altogether. So if you don't quickly put AI into play, your competitors will run up the score. I've spent my whole life building winning teams, from coaching basketball to working with big players like Nike and Jordan Brand. My next move? Helping you win with Everyday AI. Listen wherever you get your podcasts or on everydayaipodcast.com. Let's tap into AI together and put points on the board.
Well, we're thinking about them absolutely from the standpoint of we want them to be customers. We have to have an offering, again, that meets the customer wherever they're at. So from our standpoint, when you think about our connectivity offering, we have to go out and partner with all forms of connectivity and access. So we need to partner with broadband providers, more legacy telco providers. We need to be in the big markets as well as the small markets. We easily have 50 plus pure connectivity providers. We also have to deal with all mediums. We need to be able to provide fiber where available, Other forms of wired connection were not available. We have to, we have to embrace 4G and 5G from
Right.
wireless. We have to embrace LEO for even some of those areas where really the other forms of wireless really aren't there from a network coverage standpoint. So you have to have all that in your solution offering, because inevitably, I think the point you're making is you're going to encounter a customer who has, probably has a great location or facility in a major metro, an NFL, and then they're going to also have some presence that's not in a traditional. It's going to be a secondary, tertiary market. The beauty of the technology and the overlay is that it can go anywhere. It's all cloud-based. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Zip codes don't matter in that space. Zip codes matter when you're trying to deploy connectivity. They really don't matter whenever you're dealing with the technology overlays. But I think accounting for all the, and what we're seeing, and I'm sure you're seeing it in this with all the conversations you have, the shift is on. AI is going to, because it's such a significant impact on the existing infrastructure, it's actually going to wind up in the fields and farmlands. We're seeing that in Virginia today. I mean, who would think that the state of Virginia, I was reading an article the other day, that's the largest cluster of data centers in the world.
Right.
In the world. So I think the number I saw was something like close to 560, 570 some data centers. All those centers aren't in the Beltway. They're out in Western Virginia and other areas. So again, I think, I guess to answer your question, I do believe some of the geography is shifting. And I think that, you may see that there's critical infrastructure in places where it may have been traditionally a secondary or tertiary market. I think the power grid's going to drive a lot of where those things get placed, and the available of water for cooling. Believe it or not, power and water are going to matter.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think a big theme this year's and last year's resilience is key. With we've got a big storm coming in. We've got floods. We've got hurricanes. We've got power outages, as you mentioned. How do you think about network resiliency in general, and providing that experience that customers now demand? I mean, you just can't get work done these days without a high-quality network.
Completely. Again, so we pride ourselves in being able to provide multiple connections at every customer location, and we will work hard to make that a truth, even in some of the most redundant areas, or I should say most rural areas there could be. So the fact is you really need to have two forms of connectivity. Again, wired or wireless, you can go down that path, but in the wired space, we really see a lot of multiple connection options in the wired space, and again, relying on that. With the technology overlay, you can overcome a situation where you may lose one of those, or maybe one of those is the service level has been degraded for some reason. You'll encounter that, but it's definitely things that I think business customers absolutely need to think about. I mean, think about it too. Like, when you run if you live in an area that's prone to heavy snows and maybe icing, there's a good chance you probably have a power generator at your house. Like, it's the same concepts applied to a business, right? So the things that we kind of do in our personal lives, I think a lot of times we kind of replicate those maybe to the concepts are the same. The details on how you do it could be different, but very, very similar approach.
Yeah,
there.
and when I was coming up in the industry, with Class 5 switches, we used to talk about 5 nines reliability. These days, we went away from that for a long time, but now we're having to get back to that with everything that's happening, from security challenges to weather to the environment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes, as we know, seeing into today's world, every day there's a headline of somehow someone encountered a security challenge. Sometimes, if you think about it, those can be as bad as a natural disaster. One happens to happen without your control. The other one's kind of bad actors, but they literally can have the same impact on your business. At the end of the day, they cause your business to be disruptive to a greater extent, and you got to overcome that. So
yeah, they can be business extincting events for sure. You have so many customers, so many thousands. I'd hate to ask you to name your favorite child, but is there a customer story or customer that you care to share a story about or an anecdote about?
Yeah. So I probably should. We obviously have a lot of customers, some big, some small. We have customers that have been with us for decades plus.
Wow, very cool.
So I would say that what we enjoy, what I think when we really feel like we've done some good that day is whenever we're able to work with a customer and go through a process and come out the other end, and they tell us how great of an experience they've had. They tell us how we changed their environment or their world to some extent. And the person who's in the middle of it, it could be we may think it's a little thing, but it could very well be a big thing. Like as an example that actually started last year, it's still happening into this year. Great new customer, again, connectivity with a technology overlay. They're in a lot of military bases. That can be challenging in itself with the credentialing in and everything, coordination of vendors. I think a third of those bases were out of country.
Wow.
So, we really put our project management team, we really challenged them at that point to get that done. I don't know, whenever you can make a positive difference, I mean, that's just like, to me, that, and I think to a lot of our team members, that can just be, that can be, that can really make the day or make the quarter. So I don't know if there's I don't know if that's answering your question, but I do know that we have a lot of different experiences with these customers. I could tell you some funny things. Whenever here's an example. You get a customer who who has facilities based out in the Everglades in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And remember, I said zip codes don't matter. Whenever you get a service address that's effectively a poll number, because there is no service address, and then turning to your network partner, trying to figure out how you place that order. We've had those type of experience. The reason it's coming to mind is because it's a longstanding customer of ours that we're actually going back in and looking at some network inventory for them. We were chatting about this morning, and I was chuckling to myself in the conversation that I remember the day when we were trying to drop service to a poll number out in the middle of the Everglades for them. So I guess we all carry those type of funny.
That is alligator country. So yes, that's like seller beware. Fun stuff. Well, look, thanks so much for the update and the insights and turning what can be a dry topic into a really fun conversation. Appreciate it, Julian.
Thanks a whole lot. We appreciate it, and we look forward to our next conversation, Evan.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for listening, watching, and sharing, and also check out our new TV show on techimpact.tv on Bloomberg and Fox Business. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Julian.
Bye.